Hey everyone, welcome to Can't Afford to Record, the YouTube channel where we figure out the art of audio production together. And speaking of art, I'm checking out the A.R.T PRO VLA II. So for full transparency, A.R.T were kind enough to send me a PRO VLA II to check out. And I really adore my preamp, the PRO MPA II. So when I discovered that A.R.T did a compressor, well, I just had to get my hands on it. However, my issue was, after getting this, so I couldn't use it. I had a Scarlett interface from Focusrite and it's the 18i8, and the generation of it that I had, they call them generations, only had two outputs and they were obviously taken up by my studio monitors. So I had to do something about that, and it was a good enough excuse to upgrade to the 18i20. So after I got the VLA all hooked up, I can definitely put my hand on my heart and say outboard gear is dangerous territory. But mainly because I've got this rack here, which was very kindly donated to me by a friend. And I've only got a couple of units, and the space in between them and around them is horrible. And I just want to fill them up with anything. I don't care. I'm joking, of course. But yeah, once you get a rack unit and a couple of units, you're like, I need to start filling this up. What else could I buy? First of all, let me just add the disclaimer that the concept of today's video, take it with a pinch of salt. So a little while ago, I did a video on the PRO MPA II, which is the preamp from A.R.T that I have. And I wanted to see if I could just make a song and mix it with really just the preamp choosing the sound. So if I wanted a distorted sound, I had to make the preamp distort the sound going in recording with it, and then mix it all in together, no plugins allowed. And that was a really fun video to do and people seemed to like it, so I wanted to do something similar with this compressor. The only difference with this video is I wanted to be able to really explore the different settings on the compressor, so I decided to hook it up as a hardware insert rather than tracking in with it, which obviously allowed me to try and audition a bunch of different settings and options, and for me was just the best way to create this video. So going into this video, I hope you realize this compressor is on absolutely every single element. Wherever I can put it, it's on. Down and underground, not a single sound from you is left around. And the pain from how you left me dry when you said goodbye, not a reason why they could let us die. Yeah, the rest falls with history from what was you and me. Nothing clear to see, you got me on my knees. This test that you put me through, feeling black and blue, there's nothing new to you, just an altitude. The drums I use in this track are from a free loop track that I got from Reverb.com. Actually, they're called Hitsville USA. I'll put the link in the description. I often use these drums because they are real drums. They sound very authentic and raw, and you can just really hear the room and the energy in the recording, and so that's why I like using them, and that's why I really wanted to use them with this compressor. So let's have a look what I did, but to be honest, I'm just crushing the hell out of them. So this was the exact sound that I had in my head. I just knew that I wanted to put these drums through this compressor and just blow them out completely. And my aim with this is to blend these in with the mix with the original drums there. So the original drums have sort of the impact, and then This is just adding all that sort of gushy, roomy energy behind them. I really, really love what this compressor has done to these drums. So for the bass sound, I plugged into my Focusrite interface and we are compressing the DI signal. And these are the settings that I used. So after putting the bass through this compressor, I can definitely hear that there is more body, more fullness in the tone. These settings have definitely made me more confident to actually track in with this compressor engaged and just have it all done in one go. I really like what it's doing. Now we're on to the guitars. Now this is an interesting one because I'm not too sure I would put a compressor on these guitars anyway, even with a plugin. So the fact that I'm putting them through this unit, through the hardware compressor, yeah, it's definitely for the concept of the video. I'm not too sure they actually need it. However, to find some settings that I liked, I went for this. Now we're on to the riff, and again, the same sort of thing. I'm not too sure. I would have added a compressor anyway, but for the sake of this video, I'm just going to try and pin it down so it just stays in place. It's not too pokey, and yeah, just hopefully blends in with the rest of the mix. This is what I used. That can get annoying very quickly. Okay, moving on. And for the vocals, I went through the PRO MPA II from A.R.T. I really love this preamp. I've done plenty of videos on it now. Feel free to check them out. And my aim with the VLA here was just to balance out the vocals. And I also did another cool little trick, which I'll show you. But first of all, here are the vocals through the VLA. How you left me down, down and on the ground. Not a single sound from you is left around. How you left me down, down and on the ground. Not a single sound from you is left around. How you left me down, down and on the ground. Not a single sound from you is left around. From how you left me dry when you said goodbye. Not a reason why that you let this die. Yeah, the rest. From how you left me dry when you said goodbye. Not a reason why that you let this die. And the other little trick that I tried here was actually running the vocals through the VLA with no compression engaged really at all, but having the output control absolutely dimed on max, cranked all the way up, which of course creates distortion and a crunchiness, which is essentially the compression. And I kind of wanted to sort of blend it in as some parallel compression. So I thought, why not? Let's just give it a go. And this is what it sounded like. Oh, can't explain how you left me down, down and on the ground. Not a single sound from you is left around. And the pain From how you left me dry when you said goodbye, not a reason why that you let this die. Has this sort of hairiness to it, which I really like. So that's a cool little trick. I'm going to do that some more. And now for the backing vocals, again, tracked through the PRO MPA II. And the idea was just to add a bit of bite to these. And yeah, just give them a little bit more of an edge. Ooh, can't explain. Ooh, can't explain. Ooh, can't explain. Ooh, can't explain. Yeah, the rest. Yeah, the rest. Yeah, the rest. And this test. And this test. And this test. Now we're on to the cymbals, and this one's an interesting one because this is just another way that the PRO VLA II can shine. This cymbal one shot is from the same loop pack. So, you know, you can hear that these drums are meant to be very raw sounding. This cymbal is very harsh sounding, and in a good way, I think. That's why I chose it. However, you can see in the waveform that the left side is louder than the right side. Okay, so I might not want that, and if I don't want that, I can use the VLA to balance out both sides. I've got all of the elements with the settings that I wanted from the VLA printed on, and they're now in the session. And this is what it sounds like. Dry when you said goodbye, not a reason why that you let us die. Yeah, the rest falls with history from what was you and me. Nothing clear to see, you got me on my knees. And this test that you put me through, feeling black and blue, there's nothing new to you, just an old tattoo. And now we're on to the mix bus side of things, which is arguably where many people will want to play around with this compressor. I certainly wanted to get my hands on this compressor to try it on the mix bus, and these are the settings that I've gone for. Ooh, can't explain how you left me down and on the ground. Not a single sound from you is left around. And the pain from how you left me dry when you said goodbye, not a reason why that you let us die. Yeah, the rest falls with history from what was you and me. Nothing clear to see, you got me on my knees. And this test that you put me through, feeling black and blue, there's nothing new to you, just an old tattoo. So look, in summary, The concept behind today's video is pretty unrealistic. It's very unlikely you're going to put absolutely every element that you're mixing or recording through this compressor with no other plugins engaged at all, just the compressor. However, I kind of wanted to match it a little bit like one of my other Pro MPA II videos where can I just mix a whole thing just using this preamp, mix a whole song. It makes you think a little bit more strategically. I really need to think, okay, what do I want this compressor to do to this element? Should I try and add lots of energy, so I'm going to absolutely blow it out of proportion like I did with the drums, or maybe I just want the fullness on the bass, that kind of thing. So it has you thinking in a slightly different way, especially when you're just looking to carve the sound, mold the sound the best you can with just a compressor. So the other thing to remember about a hardware compressor is you need to remember your settings and what you used. There were a few times making this video where I would come back the next day, use it on something else, and then, try and get back into the video again, only to forget what settings I used. Standout elements for me using the VLA was to use this on the drums. I can definitely imagine me wanting to absolutely blow out the drums with this compressor, maybe a room mic or the overheads or something like that, just to get a real amount of energy into the drums. This is a lot of fun to use it with. I really liked putting the bass guitar through it, and as I said earlier, I feel more confident even tracking with these settings now. Before I'm always like, I want to put the compressor on when I'm in the box. Well, no, I don't think I need to now. I think if I wanted to use a compressor going in, I would definitely try and use something similar to what I used in this example. I also really liked just absolutely diming out that output control with not really any compression happening on the vocals, and then just using that to blend in. I definitely feel it added sort of a low end hairiness to the vocals, which I really liked. And of course, using it on the mix bus, I think it's nice to add a finishing touch with some hardware. I think it feels good. I think that's kind of a cool thing to do. Let me leave you with this today. What do you think of this compressor? Do you also have a Pro VLA II? If so, please let me know what stuff you use it on, and do you have more than one? Some people have one to track in with, and some people have another one for the mix bus. Yeah, I could definitely see myself moving in that direction too. Really appreciate you watching this video today. If you liked it, feel free to leave me a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel. And if you like it more than that, you might want to subscribe right here on Can't Afford to Record. I'll see you soon.